1 minute after, let's go ahead and get rolling. Okay, so y'all know that Huddle topics are generally dictated by things that we see going on in the brokerage, problems that people are having, struggles that they need, and kind of just general updates. That's kind of what today's about. So I don't have a single topic, I have 3 to talk about today. All right, so the first one is use of RE forms. You're all familiar with RE forms versus GAR F whatever forms, right? They're in Remind. They are available. They are the forms that agents who do not have a board membership, who do not have access to GAR forms. GAR forms are specifically for members of the Georgia Association of Real Estate, okay? And that's one of the many things and benefits that you get as being a member of the board. And it's one of the reasons, and that's part of where your fees are going, okay? GAR forms provide a level of protection for both buyers and sellers far, far in excess of RE forms, okay? Could a real estate contract based off of current law in the state of Georgia be legal and binding with RE forms? And the answer is? Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. It could be on the back of a napkin, according, Dwayne says that all the time. It could be on the back of a bar napkin, and it could be a legal binding contract. However, RE forms are far inferior. I refer to them, how did that come up? Sorry, guys. I refer to them as the Kmart of contract documents, okay? And simply because that kind of brings to mind the image of, I hate to say this, an agent who presents an offer on RE forms, they're not even serious enough about their own career to get a board membership and to spend the $400, $500 that it costs. All right. So the question then becomes to you. You are on the other side. You are the true professional in this relationship. What do you do if you receive an offer for your listing that is on RE forms? Can you use them?
Ask them to put it out. Send them the correct forms and ask them to put it out.
That is true. If you read the bottom of any GAR form, it says this is a copywritten document to be used only by members of the Georgia Association of Real Estate or any party that is doing business with a member of GAR, okay? So in that scenario, it is perfectly reasonable, and I would say from a brokerage standpoint, it is our expectation that you would then download the forms that whatever your buyer happens to, or the buyer's agent, your co-op agent needs, provide that to them, and then ask them to do it on the appropriate GAR documents, okay? And if they have half a mind, and if they're intelligent, they'll do exactly that, and they'll submit it on the appropriate documents, okay? And that will cover you. I guarantee you, if it makes it to Karen, our compliance broker, she will kick it back if it's using GAR documents, okay? All right, so there's maybe one exception to that, and that would be if the listing is somebody who has put the disclosures on RE forms, okay? Theoretically, disclosures are something that the listing agent is disclosing, or the seller is disclosing to the buyer, all right? Do you want to interfere with that? Probably not. Are they adequate? Those two, the RE forms for both seller's property disclosure and community association disclosure are fairly comprehensive, okay? So that might be the one exception. But even then, I would probably try. Give them the GAR disclosure documents, ask them to complete them. If they refuse to do so, then I would probably let that go. All right, everybody on the same page? Any questions about that?
Have you ever had anyone
I have. Yeah, which is why I put it in there as kind of an exception. But they're only refusing the GAR, the disclosure documents. They have never refused using GAR purchase and sale agreement, GAR, conventional loan exhibit, as opposed to the RE form. Yes, sir.
In that scenario, I would assume that you would just handle the disclosures separate from the contract. So just have it signed that they received it, have it on file,
Yeah.
but then process the purchase and sale on GAR without having the disclosures as exhibits to it.
No, I would keep them in there. Having a disclosure is better than having no disclosure at all. Even though it's on the wrong form, it's still probably better to have it there. Okay?
It just irks me a little bit because mixing RE and GAR together.
I agree. I've always been told that the same thing. You never want to mix those two forms together. To be honest with you, the frequency of this problem is going to be fairly rare. The frequency of you getting an offer on RE forms from an agent that is presenting them an RE is much more probable. You agree with that?
It's hard for a listing agent to get a listing without being a member of stuff.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
So
Okay.
what's the good script then for it? We receive an offer on our listing,
Hey, make us the bad guy. Make the brokerage the bad guy. Hey, my broker does not like to use RE forms. GAR forms provide a much higher level of protection for both your client as well as mine. I'm giving you authorization to use the GAR documents that I'm providing to you, that I'm able to do so because I'm a member of the Georgia Association of Real Estate.
Party to the transaction.
Yep, party to the transaction.
and just
That's
say,
the language I was looking for. Thank you.
I'll alert my client that we've got this and just update them on the correct
Yeah.
forms.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then just a reminder of binding agreement dates. According to our help desk team, we're still getting documents that are being turned into the help desk that do not have the binding agreement date entered. That is absolutely your responsibility to do so. Whether it's you entering it, whether it's the co-op agent entering the binding agreement date, it needs to be done so. So prior to turning in any of the contract docs, first you need to have any changes that have been taking place in there, make sure that all parties have initialed, and then make sure that the binding agreement date must be entered, and who is entering that binding agreement date. All right. I put the language in here, notice of binding agreement date. Actually, a new agent yesterday asked me this question, and it never fails to, somebody that you think knows this and has been doing this for a long time, still can be confused about this. But the binding agreement date shall be the date when a party to this transaction who has accepted an offer or counteroffer to buy or sell real property delivers notice to the acceptance of that acceptance to the party who made the offer or counteroffer in accordance with the notices section of this agreement. Notice of the binding agreement date may be delivered by either party or the broker working with the representative representing such party to the other party. If notice of accurate binding agreement date is delivered, the party receiving notice shall sign the same and immediately return it to the other party. Okay? That language is right there in the document. If you ever get confused about it, it is literally paragraph J in the purchase and sale agreement. Here's the best rule of thumb and a best practice. Always communicate with your co-op agent and ask them, okay, I'm going to send this back over. Do you want me to bind it or would you prefer to bind it? If you operate on that principle, it's perfectly acceptable and you're never going to go wrong. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, let's talk Divi. Mike actually sent this to me this morning and he said, hey, this might be a great topic. So if Mike says it's important, it's important. Right? So Divi is running a promo. Everybody knows Divi is one of our vendor partners. that can turn somebody who's not ready to buy today into a full-blown commission for you and a rental for them for several years down the road. Okay, Divi has got their stuff together in a lot of ways. They have realized the value of you in this room to their business model, and they are doing some pretty awesome incentives. So November's bonus for Divi, and this is just for our market. Don't you love it when that happens? I probably can plug it in. So it's $5,000. Okay, $5,000 for signing up 3 people and referring 1 other agent. Okay, so if you've got 3 clients that are in the on the fence about whether or not they're going to rent or buy, submit them. And if he's not a Divi certified agent, if one of y'all want to refer to him, I mean, when you do close one, you're going to get $5,000 in your pocket. They're also doing an additional program, and I apologize because I've got it up there. Basically, you can become a gold, silver, and platinum level broker, and there are additional incentives that includes things like they'll give you money towards CE, like $2,500 towards CE and marketing expenses. So, it's a sweet program. So strongly recommend that you take it out, take a look at it. The details of the program are on the sheets that are in front of you. If you're not a Divi certified agent, strongly suggest that you do that, and you will have that in your hip pocket. You hear, if you've heard me for more than 5 minutes, you've heard about keeping tools in your tool bag. This is a great tool, and if no other agent knows about it and nobody's talking to your clients or to their clients about it, you're going to separate yourself from the pack and be a true professional. Any questions?
What do you feel about Divi compared to like Home Partners?
Their business model is very similar in a lot of ways, but their execution and their process can be slightly different. I think Divi and Home Partners are probably the two that are most similar to each other. Do I have a preference for either one? I've done several Home Partners. I haven't done a Divi yet. So I don't really have a frame of reference, but I know that there are several agents in this office that have done multiple Divis and are pleased as punch. So Yasleen is one.
Mac Daddy at all
Yep.
of us.
Yep.
And I know Home Partners, it's based on the high school, right?
Home Partners, their main criteria is, in terms of what areas are available, is the high school attendance rate, I think, is what they use.
In ranking, they probably.
And ranking, yeah, I mean, they figure that is ultimately going to be a measure of the home value staying stable in that particular neighborhood. I'm not sure exactly what Divi does, and to be honest with you, it's been a while since I did my certification. I don't remember what their fee structure is and how that compares with Home Partners. Home Partners tends to be a little bit pricey, but Home Partners also now has a new program that is made for lower income families, income levels below $65,000, and their rents are much lower and their fees are much lower. So there's something out there for everybody. Minimum credit score for these guys, 550. You can't beat that with a stick. There's very few people that don't qualify for that.
Can you generate something like this for us, or can you chase after Connect generating something like this, except for Home Partners also? So we got both.
Yeah. I mean, they're there. If you go to Home Partners' website, they've got great marketing materials on there, including one pages like that. I'll send one out to everybody.
Do a presentation about compare and contrast.
Yeah, I can try. Yep.
How are they linking for the bonus, how are we to link the
You with the client?
customer How are they linking it to us?
So you send your client an invitation to participate in the program. They do an application. I know with Home Partners there's a fee. I'm assuming there is one for Divi also. And that's just simply for them to pull the credit, look at their financials, and say, yes, you're approved for the program, and with a price point up to X. But when you send that invitation, that links you to that particular client.
And is there a separate link to send to an agent? That's part of their requirement for the bonus.
Oh, I see. No, if you're inviting somebody else, that's a good question. I don't know, but I'll find out. Okay? All right. Actually, I think when they go, you know what? I do know, because I remember doing this when I did it. When that person goes to register, they answer a question: did somebody refer you to this program? And that's where you would have them put your name into it. Okay. That's all I got for you today. It's about all my voices got left. So, thanks everybody. Have a great day.